Hello guys, make sure you watch video on how to measure for a jumpsuit. Check it out in the description box. Thank you. Okay guys, so like I said, today we'll be learning how to cut a jumpsuit using what I call the half length method. What I mean by the half length method is taking your measurement in a way that you take the upper body's measurement separate. Are you seeing it? And you take the trouser part of the jumpsuit measurement separate. So look at it. This is measurement for my upper bodies. As you can see, the shoulder is 15, the bust length is 9.5, the under bust length is 13 inches, the round bust is 35, the round under bust is 29.5, half length is 15 and a half. Then round half length is 29. Then coming to the down part, which is the trouser part, we have the hip length, which is 10 inches, the round hip, which is 38 inches, and the crotch length, which is 12 inches, the knee length, which is 23 inches, the trouser length, which is 38 inches, while the round knee, which is 16 1/4, okay, while the round crotch is 31 inches, the thigh is 29, and the ankle is 12 inches. Are you seeing it? Okay, so the first thing we are going to do, remember, most people don't know what a jumpsuit is. Like I said, jumpsuit is more like a normal top joined to a trouser. So it's a combination of top and trouser. So if you ask me to define it, I'll tell you that jumpsuit is a dress which consists of the normal upper bodies joined with the trouser. Do you understand? Okay, so that's what the jumpsuit is. So we are first going to do the upper part of the jumpsuit before we will go to the down part of the jumpsuit. And like what we are going to do, we are not just going to do a normal top bodice. We are going to do an overlapping top bodice. Okay, so look at it. Like I say, we are first going to do the upper bodice, which is the overlap. Now look at it. This is the overlap. Are you seeing it? So that is what we are going to cut. Please, depending on whichever kind of top you want to make with your jumpsuit, please, you can actually do make that top. Do you understand? So for the sake of this tutorial, I'll be making use of the overlapping upper bodies. Okay, so in order to cut, the first thing we do is to do The first thing we do is to fold. The first thing to do after all these things, after measurement, is to do To fold. So in order for us to fold, please, like I say, we'll be folding for an overlapping upper bodies. Do you see? Are you seeing it? We're folding for overlapping upper bodies. So in order to fold for this overlapping upper bodies, we have a method we use. That method is Generally, you know that this overlapping, because of the overlapping, you are not going to fold the normal way you fold. You are going to fold in form of as if you are folding SS, like just the same way we do on our zip part. We add 2 inches for 2 inches or 2.5 for the zip allowance before we proceed to the back part. The same way we are going to do for this one, but in this case, it's no longer going to be 2 inches. Do you understand? So how do we get what to fold exactly? Now, for you to fold for your fabric for overlapping, please, this is the simplest method. You divide your highest circumference by 4. Now in this case, for the upper bodies, what I mean by the upper body is the upper part of the jumpsuit. Now the highest circumference is 35. Are you seeing it? Now 35 divided by 4. Are you seeing it? You do 35 divided by 4 is going to give us 8 3/4. Do you understand? Now what you are going to do, please, this is very, very important. You are going to add extra 12 inches extra 12 inches to 15 inches to it. Please, this thing you are adding now, it's not like you are adding it for the only for the folding and nothing else. You understand? You are adding it so that you make sure that whatever you are going to fold is going to be enough for your cutting. Please, this is it. Like I said, the highest circumference, which is the round bust, divided by 4 plus 12 to 15 inches. So in this case, my highest circumference, which is 35 divided by 4 is 8 3/4. So I'm going to add my own extra to it, extra 12 inches to it, which is going to give us 23/4. Do you understand? So if it gives you 23/4, it means that you are actually going to fold 20 3/4. See what you are going to do? You are going to actually measure out. Look at it. You are going to actually measure out. Make sure that wherever that is your 20 3/4, do you understand? You mark it out. After marking it out, what next do? You fold it. Okay. As you guys can see, I've actually folded this particular one. Are you seeing it? Okay. So now you are done folding. Next, you are going to do is to do mark out your overlapping allowance. Are you seeing it? The first thing we did was just to fold for the overall cutting. Now, second is to for the overlapping allowance. Now, for you to mark out for the overlapping allowance, we have this formula like I said. The formula is Look at it. since, look at it, since the overlapping, as you seen it, is going towards the what? Underbust. So that means we are going to be making use of what? Underbust in this calculation. Look at it. The underbust, which is what? Look at the underbust, which is what? 29 and a half. Now divided, look at it, 29 and a half divided by what? 4, which is going to give us what? It's going to give us what? 738. Do you understand? It's going to give us what? 738. Now you're not going to add extra what to it?
2 inches.
2 inches allowance. Okay, look at it. Please, this 2 inches allowance is the allowance that the same allowance you add at the where? At the what? Is the same allowance you add after you finish imputing your what? Body measurements. Now look at it, like I said, in order to get what you are going to mark out for what? For the what? Overlapping. How are you going to get it? The underbust divided by 4, which is what? 738. Are you seeing it? You add extra 2 inches allowance to it, giving you what? 938. It means that for your overlapping, you are going to mark out what? 938 first. Okay, so mark out your what? 938. Okay, after you finish marking it out, what next do you do? Is to do what? Make sure you connect it. Okay, as you can see, after the folding for the overall cutting, I actually did what? Mark out my what? Overlapping allowance using the formula that I just gave us. So as you can see, now we now have 2 sections. This side is for the overlapping only, and this side is for the what? The body, directly, the body. Are you seeing it? Okay, now what we are going to do now is that we are going to be marking every of our what? Measurements from this part. Are you seeing it? Not this part. This part is for the what? Overlapping, just for the covering. Okay, now look at it. We are going to start from here. Here serves as the what? The shoulder. Are you seeing it? Okay, now the bust length we have is what? The bust length we have is what? 9 and a half. Are you seeing it? This is the bust length. Now the under bust length is what? 13. Are you seeing it? Why the half length is what? The half length is what? 15 and a half. Now look at it. The half length is what? 15 and a half. Now we've gotten this point. Please, there's something else I like doing is what? I cannot just take my ruler and mark it out straight. The next thing I do is to what? I place it here again and also do the what? Do the sand marking. Please, this is to enable me to do what? To get a straight line while I'm marking it out. Okay? Now look at what I mean. When I keep it like this and draw, I'm 100% sure that I'm getting the what? Exactly the same line. Do you understand? Okay. Now connect this one also. And you also connect this one also. Okay, now look at this. You can as well make sure, this is your half length, are you seeing it? You can as well make sure you add your what? Sewing allowance to it. Do you understand? You can add your what? Sewing allowance to it. Which I advise you add how many? Always add what? 1 inch. Now, do you know why I say 1 inch allowance? That means when you be joining the trouser, you use ½ inch. When you be joining the shoulder, you use what? ½ inch. Okay, so let's mark out for our what? Allowance, both joining allowance and the what? Shoulder joining allowance. Okay, now next thing I want you to do is what? From this, look at it very well. From this underbust, is I want you to still mark it out so as for it to reach here. But probably you can use a what? A dotted line. Are you seeing it? Probably you can use a what? A dotted line. This is to do what? Enable us to do what? Differentiate it. Are you seeing it? Remember, this is for the overlapping, this is for the what? The main upper bodice. Okay. So after this, what next are we going to do? Next thing we are going to do is to do what? Mark out our what? Thank you. Is to do what? We've already marked out the measurement point. Which is the measurement point? From here is the what? The bust length. From here is the what? The under bust length. From here is the what? The half length. And here is what? The allowance. So what is the next thing we are going to do? Okay, let's first of all mark out our shoulder and what? Armhole. Do you understand? Okay. Now in order to mark out the shoulder here is what? 15 inches. Now 15 inches divided by 2 is going to give us what? 7 and a half. Okay, now measure out 7 and a half. Are you seeing it? Then you add your what? Half inch same allowance. Do you understand? Half inch same allowance, which we are going to use and do what? Connect the what? Sleeve. With the beginning. Okay, so next thing you are going to do, still take your tape. Are you seeing that I'm not measuring from here again? Are you seeing it? I'm actually measuring from here. Are you seeing it? So measuring from here, yeah, see, we start our measurement from here towards this side. Do you understand? Okay, so this is the shoulder, as you can see. Okay, next thing I'm going to do, still going to what? Mark out exactly the same thing. 7.5 plus what? Half inch. This is to enable me what? Get a straight line when I join. Look at it here. Are you seeing it? Now I've actually gotten a straight line. So what else am I going to do? I'm going to do what? I'm going to add what? My shoulder slope. You guys know what shoulder slope is. Without shoulder slope, any dress cannot look fine on your shoulder. Do you understand? Shoulder slope also helps the dress to relax on your what? Shoulder. Because nobody's shoulder is actually straight. All our shoulders are what? Slanted, depending on who you are or your structure. Okay, so in order to what? Add the what? Shoulder slope. What are we going to do? I have this thing I call the what? Standard neck width. Do you understand? So you mark out the standard neck width, which is what? 3 inches. Are you seeing it? Now the shoulder slope for ladies, which I normally use, is what? Whenever I'm cutting all this kind of feminine clothes, is what? I use what? 1 inch. Do you understand? Okay, now look at it. So when you have this point and you have this point, what next are you going to do? You are going to take your ruler and connect in order to get the what? Shoulder slope. Are you seeing it? I've actually gotten the what? The shoulder slope. Okay, so after you are done getting the shoulder slope, next thing is to get your what? The armhole. We construct the what? The armhole. In order for you to construct the armhole, please look at this very well. Please, we have the simplest method for you to use to construct your armhole. Now look at it. Whatever you have here, are you seeing it? What do you have here? 7.5 plus half, which is what? 8. Please take it down as your what? Armhole length. Look at it. From here, 7.5 plus half, which is what? 8. Are you seeing it? Take it down as your what? Armhole length. Do you understand? But please, this thing can differ depending on who you are actually working for. Do you understand? When you are working for someone that has very broad shoulder but very slim on the body, do you understand? You have to be very careful because you might end up getting an SS armhole. But like I told you guys, when you make use of this formula, it's always very okay to use. Okay, let's say 8 inches. Now when you mark out 8 inches, you use your rule and do what? You use your rule and do what? Connect in order to get the what? Armhole base. Are you seeing it? Now next thing we are going to do is to what? Construct the what? Armhole curve itself. So in order to construct the armhole curve, we normally make use of this thing I call the what? Look at it. You diagonally place your tape from here to here. Are you seeing it? Mark out what? 1 inch. Okay, when you mark out 1 inch, next thing you are going to do is to do what? Connect to form your what? Armhole. Now how do you connect? From here, from this same line. Are you seeing it? From this same line, connect with a curve to that 1 inch. Then like this. Are you seeing it? So at the end of the day, next thing you're also going to do is to do what? You can't just leave your armhole like this. Do you know why? Because we have what we call what? Armhole effect. And what does it do? What armhole effect does is to make sure that when we are wearing a cloth, the armhole region on it is what? Is not too rumpled, neither is it what? Puffing out excessively. So what next do you do? In order to get armhole effect, what do? As you can see, the armhole length is what? 8 inches. You divide it exactly by what? 2. When you divide it by 2, from that same point, you step in by what? Half inch. Half or 3/4 inch. But for the sake of this class, I will make use of what? Half inch. So now you've gotten this point, you've gotten this point, you've gotten this point. Next thing you are going to do is to do what? Connect. Okay, as you can see, I've gotten the what? Armhole effect. Now I want you to know something. This armhole effect is only applied what? Where? In front of a dress, not at the back. Do you understand? So when we'll be cutting this now, we are first going to cut off from the what? Original armhole. Then after we finish cutting, when we are cutting only the front, we do what? We cut out through the what? Armhole effect. Okay, so next thing we are going to do after the armhole is to do what? First of all, we are going to impute our what? Body circumference. Yeah? Yes. Okay, so for us to impute our body circumference, this is the what? Round bust. Are you seeing it? So the round bust now, which is what? 35 inches divided by 4 is going to give us what? It's going to give us 8 3/4. Okay, now if it has given you 8 3/4, what else do? You add your what? Body allowance, which is what?
2 inches.
2 inches. Do you understand? Okay, so next thing we are going to do, we are going to also our underboss, which is what 29.5 divided by 4, which is going to give us what 29.5 divided by 4 is what 738. Please, I want you to notice that I'm taking my measurement from this point. Are you seeing it? Remember what I said, here is for the what overlap, while here is for the what for the main body of the clothes. Okay, now look at it from here, measure out what 738. Do you understand? Okay, so measure out 738. Okay, then add your what extra 2 inches allowance. Okay, now for the half length, the circumference of the half length is what round half length is what 29. Now 29 divided by 4 is what 7 1/4. Share.
Yes.
Okay, 7 1/4. Now mark out what 7 1/4. Add extra what to it 2 inches allowance. Okay. So now we have these points. Are you seeing it? Now we have these points at the boss, we have at the underboss, and we have where at the half length. So next thing we are going to do is to do what? We are going to connect in order to form the what? The shape of the what? In order to form the shape of the upper bodies. Yes. Do you understand? So you can either connect like look at it, okay? Are you seeing it? So are you seeing it? So I'm done connecting. So now you are done connecting. Now what you ask yourself is, do I really need a dart? Do you understand? You ask yourself whether you really need a dart. Now what you are doing is what? Overlapping. And overlapping we want to do is what? Fitted. So do we need a dart? Okay, whatever you choose. Do you understand? Whatever you choose. But for the sake of this tutorial, let me just put a dart. Do you understand? Let me just do what? Put a dart. Okay, for you to put a dart, we usually work with the what? What we call the what? The bust span. That is what? Nipple to nipple. So nipple to nipple for a bust of 34 inches is what? 7 inches. Now you divide that 7 by what? 2, which is going to give you what? 3.5. Now measure out what? 3.5 from here down to the what? Half length. 3.5. Now after measuring it out, what do you do? Sorry there. Take your rule, okay? Take your rule and draw it like this. Join the 2 points. Okay. After you are done doing that, now you all know that that starts from 1 inch below the what? Bust line. Okay. So from this bust line, you step down by what? 1 inch. Okay. So now next thing we are going to do is to do what? Now effect the dart itself. So from here, we are going to mark out what? Half inch. Then from here is what? Half inch. So what are we going to mark out here? Half inch. So from here is what? Half inch. Do the same thing all through. Half inch. From here is what? Half inch. So after that, next thing we are going to do, as you can see, we have this point, this point, this point, and all these points. Do you understand? So what we are going to do is that we are going to join it, connect it together. Connect all of them. Okay, from here, connect to this very part. From here, connect to this very part. And from here, connect to this part. From here also, connect to this part. Okay, as you can see, we are done with the what? The dart. So next we are going to do is the what? The neck. The final thing we are going to do for the what? Upper bodies is the what? The neck. Okay, to work on the upper bodies, the neck, what are we going to do? You now have to what? Choose the what? The width of your neck. Now, for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to choose what? 5 inches for the width of my neck. Please, choosing the width of your neck is on your own discretion. Do you understand? You choose the width of your own neck. Okay, next is what? We choose the what? Neck depth. Now, the neck depth from here, as you can see, depending on what you want to use. So if you need an average overlapping neck depth is what? 5 inches. 6 inches is also okay. Then 7 inches, depending on your size, please, depending on your body figure, you can also use what? 7 inches. Now when you use 7 inches, 8 inches, it's more like you need depending on a particular body shape, is when you need a neck depth that is kind of coming down closer to the what? Cleavage side. Do you understand? From 7 to what? 8, 9. Do you understand? But 5, 6 is always more like average neck depth. Do you understand? So for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to use what? 6 inches. So in that case, we have this point and we have this point. So we are going to join it together. But as we are joining it together, please, I want us to know that, look at it. I want us to know that it will be going over to the where? Under bust. Do you understand? So what are we going to do now? Look at it. I'm going to, you can make use of your what? CORSET. Do you understand? Or your hand, which is what? Free hand. Okay, now look at it. Are you seeing it? So from here, take it down to here. the underbust. Are you seeing it? Okay. All this we are doing is to make sure we get an overlapping that looks exactly like this. Okay. So as you can see, we are done. Please, depending on how you want to get the shape of your overlapping, depending. Some persons can just do straight. Do you understand? As you can see, my own is kind of what cut. Okay. So looking at this now, you can see we are done with what the front part of the what overlapping top bodice. Look at it. Also make sure you draw over here. Are you seeing it? So while we are cutting, we are going to cut like this. Are you seeing it? So we are going to cut like this. Okay, so after that, take your pin and do what? Take your scissors and do what? Cut. Now when you are cutting this, please don't follow through the inner one. Remember I told you, it's only the front you cut through this inner one. Do you understand? But for the sake of the fact that you've not cut the back yet, you understand? So you have to do what? First cut from the back fold. Then after you are done cutting the back, you now do what? Cut through the what? Okay. So after you are done, please I advise you to do this. It's very, very important. Make sure you notch this part. Are you seeing it? Make sure you notch this part. Okay? And make sure you also notch this very part. Lastly, make sure you notch your what? That. Okay, before we open it, make sure you also open this very part. Are you seeing it? Okay, so next thing we are going to do is to do what? We are going to do what? Construct the what? Back, cut out the back. So we'll be cutting out the back using the front. So what you need to do is to do what? Make sure you fold out this very one. Are you seeing it? The overlapping. Fold it out like this. Then you are going to use it and do what? Trace out the back. Okay, so next thing you are going to do, as you can see, I folded out the front, folding out the what? Overlapping allowance. Then fold out material for your back. Make sure that, as you can see, make sure that the zipper allowance is what? 2 inches wider than the front, as you are seeing here. Are you seeing it? Zipper allowance is what? 2 inches wider than the front. Now place it and make sure you use your pin and hold it very well. Okay, next thing we are going to do is what? We are going to mark out our what? Back neck. So in order to mark out your back neck, this is where, as you can see, this is where the neck is starting from. Look at it at this point. So in order to mark it out, you go down, you step down by what? 1.5 inches. Are you seeing it? You can use 1.5 to what? 2 inches. But for the sake of this class, I'm using what? 1.5. Okay, next you are going to do is what? You are going to just from here, are you seeing it? Make sure you what? Curve out your neck. Are you seeing it? Okay, so next thing you are going to do after this is to do what? Look at it. First of all, take your scissors and do what? Cut it off. Are you seeing it? Is there something else I want you to do? Make sure you apply what we call the what? The zipper effect. What does zipper effect do? It helps the back part of every clothes to do what? Relax very well. Do you understand? So that it will not be puffing out. So in order for you to do it, from this very part, are you seeing it? The underbust. Make sure you step back by what? 1/2 inch. Do you understand? When you step back by 1/2 inch, you mark it out. Then make sure you also do the same thing at the down part. You mark it. Are you seeing it? So next thing you are going to do is to do what? Connect both of them. When you connect both of them, then from here, look at it. Take your rule from here, diagonally place it like this. Are you seeing it? Make sure you roll it out. So at the end of the day, it will be like this. So next thing you are going to do is to do what? Cut it off. That is your what? Zipper effect at the back. Okay, are you seeing it? Okay. So next thing we are going to do, next and final, almost the final thing we are going to do is to do what? Mark out the what? The dart. You mark out the dart for the back. So in order to mark out the dart for your back, look at what you are actually going to do. Now look at it. Remember what I said, the dart for the back does not start from this point, this front started. Do you understand? It starts from where? Start from the what? Armhole length, or 1/2 inch below the armhole length. Do you understand? So for the sake of this class, we are going to start this one by what? From the what? Armhole length. So what do I mean by that? Look at it. This one started here, while this one is going to actually start from here. Look at it from this line. Are you seeing it? So it means that it's going to start from this particular point. Okay, now look at it. Now take your pin, put it from here. Are you seeing it? When you put it from here, what next are you going to do? You are now going to open it from here. Open it from here. Are you seeing it? Check where that pin is. Make sure you use your marker or your chalk and do what? Dot it. Okay, you also do the same thing. Turn the back, check where the marker is. You also do what? Dot it. Okay, so this is how to get the points for the what? That. So next thing you are going to do is what? You also do the same thing on other what? Points. So at the end of the day, you can also do it from this side and at the what? This side. So what we are going to do is what? Let's remove the front part. When you remove the front part, you now be able to see all these points. What do? Take your rule and do what? Connect. In order to get the what? Back that. Okay, as you can see, we've actually gotten the what? The back that. So you can see we've gotten the what? The back that. So the final thing to do on this upper bodice is to do what? To cut out the what? Armhole effect. And we are done with the what? Upper bodice. Look at it. This is now the time to what? Cut it off. Are you seeing it? So we are now what? Done with the what? Upper bodice. Okay, before we start the lower bodice, that is what? The trouser. What we are going to do is what? I'm going to place this thing for us, for all of us to see the outcome. Now, when you are placing it, look at it very well. Always know that for female, the overlapping goes, the right overlaps the left. You can actually do what? Couple the what? Upper bodice. Are you seeing it? When you close here, close here, close here, and close here, the upper bodice is done. Then you do what? You hem here. Are you seeing it? Also hem here. That is just it. Okay, but first of all, you hem these two places before what? Coupling. Please always know that you hem this side and this side before what? Coupling the sides and the what? The shoulder. Okay, so we are done with the what? Upper body. So let's go straight to the what? Lower bodice, which is the what? The trouser.
The trouser.
So we are going to do the lower part of the jumpsuit now, which is actually the what? The trouser. So we have our different measurements for the what? The lower part. Okay, so the first thing we do, which we always know, is to do what? Fold our fabric. Now, what I'm trying to tell you is that what we are going to cut now is the trouser. Okay, so in order to fold your fabric, like I used to say, normally we fold with the what? Highest circumference. But in this case, we are folding with the what? The tie. You understand what I mean? You are folding with the what? The tie. Now the tie in this case is what? 23 inches. Now you are going to, what you are going to do is what? You are going to divide 23 by what? 2 inches. Now dividing 23 by 2 is going to give you what?
11.5.
11.5. Okay, that means, look at it now. Since it's 11.5, now see what you're going to do. Mark out what? 11.5. Just mark it out. Like I said, mark out the what? 11.5. Mark it out in 3 different parts in order to get the what? A straight line. Mark it out. 11.5. 11.5. Then after you're done marking it out, make sure you do what? Take your rule and do what? Connect.
Yeah.
Okay. Now after you are done connecting, what next are you going to do? You are going to do what? Fold it out. You are going to do what? Fold it out. Okay. Now after you are done folding it out, please cross check to see whether it's still 11.5. Please make sure you cross check to see whether it's what? 11.5. It's very, very important. So fold it out very well. Iron it out. So next thing you are actually going to do now is what? You are going to mark out your what? First of all, you are going to mark out the what? The ghetto line, which can also be called what? The crease. Do you understand? Or the traveler's crease. That is, you know that particular part, whenever you wear a trouser, that part that is very ironed, that is very, very, have a very sharp edge. That part is called the what? Ghetto line or the what? The crease. So in order to get that part, what do? This 11.5, are you seeing it? You also divide it by 2 again to get the what? The middle part. So what do we have?
11.5 by 2, 5 3/4.
Is what?
5 3/4.
5
3/4.
3/4. Okay, 5 3/4. So place it and mark out what? 5 3/4. Place it and mark out what? 5 3/4. Please make sure you also mark it out in 3 different parts in order to do what? Get a straight line. Please make sure you do that. Okay, as you can see, I've gotten it, so I need to do what? Take my rule and do what? Connect. Okay, as you can see, we are done getting the traveler's crease or the ghetto line. So next thing we are going to do is to do what? Now we are going to mark out our the measurement points, and we already have the measurement points here. Do you understand? Remember what I said, we make use of the half method measurement, which we've already done the upper part, and this is the measurement for the upper part. We are now doing the lower part. This is the measurement for the lower part. Okay, so we are going to start from the half length. That is also the waist. Okay, the half length what I'm trying to say is from the half length to the crotch length. You understand? So let's look for the crotch length here, or the hip line. The hip line here is hip length is 10 inches. Please, from here, it's as simple as that. Mark out your 10 inches. Look at it. Mark out your 10 inches. Then next is the crotch length, which is 12 inches. Are you seeing it? Mark it out. Please make sure you mark it out. Okay, but please, I advise you to always make sure. In fact, it is very, very necessary. See what I'm going to do. Please, before you start marking, make sure you do mark out half-inch allowance. Please, this half-inch allowance is the allowance you are going to use and join it to the upper bodice. This is very, very necessary. Are you seeing it? This half-inch. Then after this half-inch, that is when you are going to mark out the 10 inches. Please mark out the 10 inches. Then mark out the 12 inches. Do you understand? Okay. Then after that, you mark out the knee length. Knee length is 23 inches. Okay, look at the knee length. Then after that, mark out the trouser length. Okay, the trouser length is 38 inches. Okay, after the 38, mark out the 2 inches allowance for the trouser, the hemming. Okay, now we are done. What you are going to do is we are going to take our rule and do connect, in order to get all the measurement points. Okay, as you can see, here is the waistline or the half length. Like I said, here is the half inch, which you are going to use for the joining up to the upper bodies. Here is the hip line. Do you understand? Here is the crotch length. Here is the knee line, and here is the trouser length or the full length, anyone you want to call it. Okay, yeah, what we are going to form the crotch. And in order to form the crotch, we are going to divide our hip. Use the hip method, which we always know is in order to form the crotch, please always know that this is the simplest method you can ever see. Divide the hip by 4. So for you to divide the hip by 4, the hip we have is 38 inches. Divided by 4 is going to be 9.5. Okay, now look at it. When you divide by 4, mark out 9.5. Are you seeing it? Mark out 9.5. Make sure you mark it out in a way that you can use your rule and do connect, in order to get a straight line. Make sure you mark it out. Are you seeing it? Mark it out to the crotch length. Look at it. Are you seeing it? See what I just did? I divided the round hip by 4. Whatever I get, I place my tape from here. Look at it. I place my tape from here and measure out. Are you seeing it? 9.5. Measure it out 2 times in order to get a straight line. Remember, we are still on forming the crotch. So in order to form the crotch, we all know that to form the crotch, we need this. Look at it. We need this curve, the same way we form the armhole. Do you understand? And in order to form this crotch, what do? The same thing we did on our armhole. We place our tape diagonally from here to here. How many? 1 inch. Okay. Next we are going to do is we are going to connect. Are you seeing it? So looking at it now, we've automatically formed our crotch. Our crotch. It's so easy to form the crotch, other than following some other methods that will really confuse you. So next thing we are going to do is to do what? We are going to impute the other measurement. So how do you input the other measurement? Now, I'm going to also show you the simplest way of imputing the measurement. Now, whenever you get your round knee, let's say we are going to impute the round knee circumference. Now, the round knee is 16. Okay, the round knee is 16 inches. Now, 16 divided by 4. Please, I know the reason why I'm dividing by 4. This is to make it to be easier for you. Now, 16 divided by 4. 16 1/4. Please, the round knee is not 16. The round knee is 16 1/4. 16 1/4 divided by 4 is going to be what? The 16 1/4 divided by 4 is what? 458. Okay, now see what you are going to do and see the reason why I divided by 4. So as to enable us, look at it. 458 here. Okay, so as to enable us, place our tape from here. Are you seeing it? Give this side what? 458. Are you seeing it? And you also place it and give this side its own 4 5, 8. Do you understand? Okay, so this is the reason why I actually divided into what? 4. So that I'll be able to do what? Share it on both sides equally. Do you understand? That's why I did not divide by the regular 2 that most people divide it. Okay. So now I have this point and also have this point. Are you seeing it? So I'm also going to do the same thing at the what? Ankle. Now the ankle, which is what? 12 inches divided by 4 is going to give us what? 3 inches. Okay. Now from here to here, mark out your what? 3 inches. And from here to here, mark out your what? 3 inches, making it up to what? Total of what? 6 inches. Do you understand? Now that 6 inches is exactly what you divide by what? By 2. Okay. Now we have this point, we have this point. Are you seeing it? And we have the what? The tie point. So what next are we going to do? Is to what? Connect in order to form the what? The trouser. So in order to connect, look at it. Place your thing from here to here. Are you seeing it? It's connected. Now place your thing from here to here. It's connected. Are you seeing it? And place your tape, measurement tape from here to here. Are you seeing it? From this point to this point. Are you seeing it? Also place it from this point down to this point. Remember, this is actually a pencil trouser. Okay, so looking at this now, as you can see, we are done cutting out the front part of the trouser. So we are now going to cut it off in order to use it and cut the back part. You understand? So now some persons might be looking at this place, say, what of the waist? We've not added anything on the waist. Do you understand? Please, I advise you to leave the waist like this. Because so many people have encountered several problems because of this particular thing. Because even the allowance that is on this, the extra allowance that is on this waist will enable you, let's say assuming you are putting that in front. Do you understand? To enable you to do many things. So that is just the major thing. So, but if actually you still want to put the around the waist measurement, so what you are going to do is what? Is the half length. Do you understand? Now, the half length, which is what? 29 divided by 4 is what? 7 1/4. My class is too big. 7 1/4. Are you seeing it? So this is where 7 1/4 is. Are you seeing it? So for me, even if you put the waist measurement, I still advise my students to also do what? To make sure they add some extra allowance in case of incasity. Do you understand? Add extra allowance so that let it not be that you finish working, you'll be looking for an allowance around the waist region. That's why personally I advise you do what? You leave it like that. Leave the extra allowance like that. So that when you finish sewing, you can be able to do what? Actually weave it out and shape it the right way. Do you understand? But let me still continue. If you still want to effect it so that every shape will show, look at it. So from here, look at it now. From here, in order to give the curve of a nice trouser, you understand, with shape, what you are going to do is what? This is the hip line. Step up by 2. Why are we stepping up by 2? We're stepping up by 2 so that it will not take any part of the what? The hip line. And it also have do what? Give us a fine, better what? Curve. Now look at it. Are you seeing it? So as you can see, we've gotten the real shape of this particular thing. Please, but I advise you, I'll keep repeating it, don't do this thing. It's not really advisable. Why? Like this thing I'm saying now is very important. It's not that too advisable. Even if you are doing this thing, please make sure you add extra half or 1 inch by the side. Remember, the upper body has extra 2 inches by the side. You understand what I'm saying? So this one also, I advise you to actually leave it. Leave it without this design. But if you insist you want to get the shape before you couple, instead of getting the shape afterwards, coupling. If you insist, please, you can also do your own like this. That's it. So after you are done, next thing you are going to do is what? Cut it out. Then use it and what? Trace for the back. As you can see, I wanted to cut here, but I remember that for me personally, I don't need to do what? Cut it off. So I now left it. Okay. So as you can see, I'm done cutting it off. So next thing I need to do is to do what? Get material for the what? The back. Okay, so for you to cut the back part of the trouser, there's something you do. Fold your material almost exactly the same way you folded for the front. But this time around, make sure that your back material you folding is what? At least 1 inch longer than the front one. Do you understand? Look at it. Look at this very one. It's equal here. Are you seeing it? And it's what? 1 inch longer here. Are you seeing it? Now this 1 inch helps the back for ease also, and also to what, for the back to relax very well, even especially when you want to do what, sit down. Do you understand? Okay, then another thing while folding the back hole, always make sure that the back is what, 3 inches wider, at least 3 inches wider than the what, front. Remember what I said? While folding for the back, make sure it is what, 1 inch longer than the front and 3 inches wider than the what, front. It is very, very necessary for you to know that. So people understand what I said?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So when you are done folding it, as you can see, place it very well, take your pin and do what? Hold it. So next thing you are going to do is what? Remember, this front we just marked out here, it not really have allowance. There's no allowance in front whenever we are cutting this trouser, whenever we are marking out this trouser. So please, that allowance is going to come at the what? The back side. You understand? Okay, so for us to put that allowance, see what we are going to do. Look at it. From here to here, please, I advise always use what? Maximum of what? 2 inches, please. Then take it down, be taking it down from here to here, 2 inches. From here to here, 2 inches. So from here to here is 3 inches least. That is why I said that it should be what? At least 3 inches wider than the what? Front. Okay, so mark it out, 3 inches. Are you seeing it? From here to here, 3 inches. Are you seeing it? Now, since here to here is 3 inches, look and tell me what here to here is going to be. 2.5. You'll be descending now. Do you understand? You don't descend just like that drastically. You'll be descending small. So since here is what? 3 inches, here should be what? 2.5, 2.5. So if here is 2.5, here should be what? 2. Okay, then if here is 2, what should here be? 2. Continue with what? 2 inches, please. It's as simple as that. So when you are done, next you are going to do is what? You are going to what? Connect. So in order to connect, look at it. Just, you can take your rule. Okay, like I said, next thing you are going to do is what? Is either you take your straight rule, your French cuff, or your other cuff set. Do you understand? Use it and connect all those points together. Look at it as I'll be connecting this one. Are you seeing it? I've actually connected this one. Then next is also connect this very one. Are you seeing it? Okay, look at it. I'm done connecting it. So after you are done connecting, there's one thing else you need to do. Please make sure. See, I call this thing normally the waist effect. Do you understand? The back being longer than the front. So what you are going to do is what? We normally do this thing on trousers, on skate. Do you understand? So if you've not watched my video on how to make trouser, make sure you go and watch it. So look at it. So from here, you're going to connect it to the very point here. Are you seeing it at the edge? Look at what I'll be doing. From here, connect to this very point. Look at it. Are you seeing it? So after you are done doing it like this, next thing you are going to do is to do what? Cut it out. Cut it out. Now look at it. Okay. As you can see, we are done cutting it out. Sure, you are seeing it. Please, there's something else I really want you to do, because it will actually affect you while joining, while coupling. Look at it. If you don't do it, look at it. Please, always try to do this. Look at it. Always try to, as if you are joining it. Fold it out like this. Are you seeing it? Always try to fold it out. Make sure that the back is actually touching the what? The front. Make sure the back is what? Touching the front. When you do it like this, you'll notice something. It's either they are equal, which is right, or one is longer than the other. Now, as you can see that this one is longer than this one. So what do? You take your marker or your chalk and mark it out. Are you seeing it? So after you're done doing that, please turn it like this. Are you seeing it? Now make sure you connect it down to what? This very one. Are you seeing it? So when you connect it, what you do is what? Take your scissors and cut it off. Are you seeing it? So after you finish cutting it off, that means when you be coupling these sides of the trouser, one is not going to be longer than you. You're not going to stress yourself much. So many people have this problem. So that is it. Looking at it, we are done cutting the what? The jumpsuit, both the upper bodice and the what? The lower bodice. Okay, so where is the upper bodice? So I can join both of them. Okay, this is the upper bodice. This is still as it was when I showed you guys. Okay, but let me place it back again how it's supposed to be immediately after cutting. Okay, guys, look at it very well. Look at it. This is actually how the jumpsuit is supposed to be. Look at it. Now, when you fix the upper bodice with the down part, it actually gives you what? A complete jumpsuit. Are you seeing it? So this overlapping now is going out to this way. Are you seeing it? Why this one is? Look at it. Now, do you see the reason why I say you should not cut off this very side? Are you seeing the reason now? Because it gives you almost exactly the same to the what? The bodice. Are you seeing it? It gives you the same thing to the bodice. But if you had cut it off, you will now notice that this one will now have excess allowance more than this one. So is it not better for both of them to have the same allowance? And for you to also be at the safer side of having allowance that if you want to shape, you can shape your jumpsuit. Instead of letting it be that you finish making your jumpsuit and that's just it.
Oh, thank you guys for watching. And if you made it to this point, I say congratulations because you actually uncovered so many secrets about a jumpsuit. Thank you guys for watching and may God bless you. Please, I want you guys to make sure you click on that like button. Click on that like button so as to support me in what I do, and also make sure you subscribe. Thank you and may God bless you. Please keep watching my videos and I promise to do better for you guys.